Hello everyone, it is Redmentions, the show where I go through your reactions to the most recent Liverpool game. In this instance, it was getting us twatted by Manchester City at the Etihad, which is not how we all want to spend a Thursday evening, but you know what, here we are. Isn't life what it is? Yes, I'm going to jump over to Twitter first and foremost. Keep your comments coming in alongside, and the best ones I'll read out. But yeah, Leanne Prescott, our good friend, journalist Leanne Prescott, saying, not quite sure why you can't be pleased with being Premier League champions, yet demand more from this Liverpool side tonight. This is a team that have demanded perfection all season. Hard to think Klopp and co will be happy with this display. End a brilliant campaign on a high. Couldn't agree more with that, to be perfectly honest. I think the general tone we're finding in comments so far is, we're going, I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it. If you're cool with seeing Liverpool lose a game of football, that's fucking weird if you're a Liverpool fan. Does it have the emotional attachment to it that Liverpool, when we got battered when Mane got sent off a couple of seasons ago, I was crestfallen that day. Absolutely crestfallen. I had to drag myself up off the floor because it felt like a kick to the stomach. It like really knocked the wind out of us. I'm annoyed. I don't like seeing Liverpool lose, but I get it. It doesn't have the same level of emotional connection because the stakes weren't there in this game, but it doesn't mean you can't want more. Right. Anyway, Ryan Bartlett on Twitter, they're saying, thank fuck that's over. So embarrassing. It was, and that's what it was. There becomes a level of gallows humour with that. Like, if it had been a 1-0 or a 2-0 or whatever, we've seen close games, people refer to 11 millimetres last season. It's different, but like... You can see Klopp, by the time the fifth one goes in before it gets disallowed, he's just kind of laughing because, there becomes a fatalism that happens when a game reaches that kind of thing. And it was embarrassing. But again, it comes back to it. It's embarrassing because it should be embarrassing. You've had your pants pulled down by another football team, regardless of whether it's a brilliant football team in Man City or not. But... Anyway, Dean Foley says VAR is our man of the match for the damage limitation there. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I mean, it's Liv VAR pool anyway, isn't it? So mercifully, the one positive we took from the end of that game is that it wasn't 5-0. Daniel Cooper, defence was terrible, midfield almost non-existent, and the attack had no final product. It wasn't as one-sided as the score looks, but City took their chances and we didn't. And that's why, again, it reminds me so much of that game, the Mane sending off game. Except we didn't have 10 men to blame this time around. City can get away with you. And, I on the balance of play, I thought Liverpool were all right at the start of the game. They had a couple of really good opportunities, got into some really good positions, but you're dead right. It's the final product that was the difference in that. And City final product and their position in the final third was so much sharper than us. We've got it right now. Obviously, you can't see it on the screen, but Sky are going through Liverpool's chances, and we had some big moments, but you can't have big moments against Manchester City and not take them. The games that we've won against Man City are games where we've had one opportunity and we've taken it and we've capitalised on it, and then you can go and grab control of the game and you leave Man City chasing it. You don't take them, you can see the penalty, and then you can see another goal. That plays into Man City's hands all day long. But yeah, probably not on the balance of it, not as one side as the scoreline looks, but ultimately, whatever. Sebastian Fach at Sonic Dud, lost 4-0, not bothered in the slightest. Oddly, quite a nice feeling. Yeah, the not being bothered, it's quite a nice feeling. Seeing Liverpool lose is not a nice feeling, which is, I'm sure, what you were driving at there. Harms just don't care. Also, don't know why I feel like calling for Jürgen out delusional. Yeah, you can see, actually, I don't know if I can get it up on here, but yeah, Klopp out is trending at the moment, which I can only imagine is, of course, an incredibly ironic thing, because it will be. I wouldn't take anyone shouting that seriously. Everyone's doing it tongue-in-cheek, and anyone who's doing it seriously has serious mental issues, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Anyway, JC Wijnaldo, lol, let's not get it twisted, that was embarrassing. Still not arsed though. I picked this one out because it couldn't sum it up any better. Leanne summed it really nicely in a much more educational and verbose way. But that's perfect. Let's not get it twisted. That was embarrassing. It's embarrassing to lose a game of football by 4-0. It should always be embarrassing, but you can still not be arsed that we've lost 4-0. That's the weird sort of dichotomy we've got at the moment, but it is what it is. Anyway, Kieran, Aaron, Robertson and Gomez having a shocker. Clearly been on a piss the last week. Bet Kloppo won't be happy. I get we've won the league, but they're paid big bucks to stay professional when nothing's to play for. Need left back cover. Can't have Robertson this complacent next year. I don't think he was complacent. I genuinely don't think he was complacent. I think just Man City played him really well, and maybe it comes down to a moment of sharpness. But it's what happens. It can't always be that someone was shit and someone was brilliant. It can be sometimes that, actually it can just be that sometimes. It can be that Phil Foden played brilliantly tonight. Let's not get away from the fact that he was great, and his positioning and tactically, they asked questions of Liverpool, and were in trying to answer them. Liverpool didn't get the answers right and left themselves exposed, and City capitalised. Great tactics and great execution of the tactics. I don't disagree. I think we do need some good left-back cover, but yeah, you can have a bad game and another team can have a really good game, and sometimes that's just fine. Not that we choose to have that, of course, but yeah. Anyway, Charfield. Hilarious, funniest game, doesn't matter, let's batter Villa. Yeah, absolutely. Rome at Rome, boys. Free pass to Joe and Robbo and Trent. Individual mistakes can't be made against City. Apart from that, we were boss through large parts of the game. Fabinho was a monster, and I absolutely loved the performance of Hendo. Thought he was excellent. The boys have given us so much, and over the course of the season, they have. This side have given us a hell of a lot this season, and for the last couple of seasons, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, we had some really good spells in that game, and to create those spells against a team as good as Manchester City are fine. But again, it boils down to fine margins. If you don't take your chances, then Man City are gonna. You can't bank on Man City also not taking the chances. Odds are one set of good players is gonna take chances, and they just took theirs, didn't they? We've won the fucking lot at Joe. They're saying, on a reel though, this could be a good thing. It will bring us back down from cloud nine and hopefully make us refocus. That's the one thing about this, is that it had the way of doing two things. If you win the league and then you win this game, you get to continue the good vibes and the good feeling, and maybe you carry on, but maybe you then turn up against, and I'm just putting this in a positive light, by the way, because I always will do. You turn up at Villa and you're thinking, do we need to really go for it against Aston Villa? I feel as though, perversely, Liverpool got a greater chance of putting a greater points tally together, having lost this game, because at least it shows that they're not going to be able to, or they're going to have to go committed, and, maybe not drink alcohol during the week, during the season, who knows. Alan Hughes, perspective needed. Seriously, you'd think we haven't won the league, for fuck's sake, lol. I'd take losing 10-0 away to City each season so long we won the league. Couldn't give a toss. Very good point. Simon Brown, and I know it doesn't matter, but I'm fuming. Some awful performances tonight. Agreed. Christopher Stanley, something I said during the live stream, actually, like Barca away last year, could have gone either way, and it didn't go our way. Sometimes that's all it is. And I said this about why it's so similar to the Nou Camp game. City have the ability to take the game away from you and keep it away from you and accelerate away from you and go 1, 2, 3 goals in a very short drift. And that's exactly what they did. And sometimes that just happens. We do that to teams too. And City are capable, one of the very few teams in world football capable of doing it to us. Sometimes shit happens. Etihad Dad. Probably not. After the Lord Mayor's show, I think perspective, when you win a league for the first time in 30 years, players for the first time winning something major, also by such a large gap and winning it early, it makes it harder to motivate players, plus weaker celebration. Yeah, I mean, we'll never know. We'll have to see how Liverpool bounce back on Sunday and for the remaining, 6 games of the season to know. But it is a good point. Like, I think we were saying it in the last stream, we've all kind of switched off. Okay, we built up to this game, but this wasn't like, this massive tempo in my life. It was just another Liverpool game on the horizon. The job's done. There is another job in points tally, and that's going to be down to the players to motivate themselves. If they don't do it, we'll all be made up with how they've constructed the season, how well they've played this season long. I hope they've got it in them, and we're about to find out what this team's made of, because if they're still capable of picking themselves up and still capable of going big for the remaining 6 games, then that bodes very, very well for the future, that you can do it even when the title's won and there's nothing left really, really to play for. There's records to play for, but the objective for the season's been met. I hope they do, and I think we'll all agree with that. James Bickerstaff there saying, play the kids for the remainder of the season, bollocks to the 100 points. Disagree. 100% disagree. Liverpool should be going for 100 points no matter what. That should be the aim, because that's not how Klopp manages. Klopp manages a team and sets the intensity, and he sets the level, and the side is built on everyone being all in the pain together. And if you loosen that, if you just go, we'll just play the kids, it undoes everything you do, and I think it's very difficult to pick yourself up for a new season. The reason Liverpool started and did this season so very well is because they never gave up, they never stopped, they never rested on the laurels. They didn't win the league, they went and won the Champions League instead, and then kept going into this season. So I think it would be foolish, I think, to not go hard on it. But yeah. Anyway, Gurist Tank saying there, love. Seeing all the haters trying their best to troll us after today's result. Full credit to City, they deserved the result, and with a better team over 90 minutes, all the trolls in the world wouldn't change the fact that we're champs and we'll be there fighting again next season. Completely agree on that. I'm just going to dive quickly over to the YouTube comments. Ben Pryor, they're saying individually most of the players weren't actually that bad. Tactically, I think we were poor. They played a 4-4-2 and ended up overloading us on the counter with one winger staying wide 19 times. Yes, absolutely. And so great to see so many people who've joined up to the Redmen membership there. You got the likes of Raymond, Maka335, all diving in with the comments. Raymond saying, have a few weeks off, lads, and let's bend them over next season. Absolutely, indeed. And we'll jump over to the comments from this live stream. Hitchin and Baz saying, more disappointing than finding an Everton shirt in your kid's bedroom. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't really put it any better than that. I'm just going to try and find someone left a super chat in there. Is Aswin Jose. Could have played our second choices if this was the performance our first 11 was going to put in. Yeah, you're right. The gift of hindsight, I'd have put more out like the team that started the Everton game if we knew that was going to be. We're going to do the instant match reaction show in a minute. The link to that will be in the description underneath, so you can jump straight over to that show and keep going into it. But yeah, I want to talk about Sadio Mane's performance. I want to talk about Joe Gomez's performance in particular. So do come over and watch that show and keep your comments coming in for that as well. And we'll read through a few more on that stream. But yeah, click the link, get over into the comments right now, and in a couple of minutes time we'll be over there. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Drop a thumb up, a like on this video, because you know what, spread the positivity. Thank you for watching, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, for becoming a member, you wonderful people, and for all the super chats as well throughout the live stream. But yeah, instant match reaction still to come. Final word show tomorrow. Check both of them out.